So today I'm just going to get started with the spider tutorial. I have the outline all down, ready to go. So now we just need to pick some colours to get started with, and we're going to do that today. So if you're new here, hello, I'm Lisa, a colour pencil artist, a mum, and a big believer in slowing down and soaking up the beauty of the natural world. As next month is Halloween, I wanted to make a spooky theme for my Patreon, so we voted between this spider, vulture, and crow. Spiders might not be everyone's favourite creature, but there's something so fascinating about their intricate patterns and textures. And colour pencil is a perfect medium to bring those tiny details to life. If you enjoy watching the process or want to give this a try yourself, the full step-by-step tutorial is available now on my Patreon. It's a calm, therapeutic experience, perfect if you're looking to unwind while learning something new. My goal is to inspire you to appreciate wildlife in all its forms and to embrace the calming magic of colour pencil art. Let's dive in and take a closer look at this little 8-legged wonder. So I've just gone through and sharpened all of my pencils, make sure they all have really sharp points just because there are so many little details on this piece, so we can get started now. So we're going to be starting with the eyes, so using a really sharp dark sepia pencil, we're just going to outline the darkest areas and then go in with a white pencil and just put in a little bit of that highlight section, just help keep it nice and bright. And then we can start to build in some of the darker tones with the cold grey 3, and then also add some of the blue tones, purple tones, and then go back in with the black to really outline and fill in the darker sections. And then what we're going to do is just go in and put all of the other eyes in, so using exactly the same method as the first one. And this is why I'm saying it's important to have really sharp pencils, because these details are just so small, and having really sharp pencils will really help you to get really precise little lines and details in. And when you have a sharp pencil, the colour just goes down so much better on the page, so you don't need to go over so many times and you get a really good saturation on the page. Making sure to pay really close attention to where you can see the highlights in the eye, because that's going to make it look realistic and give that sort of 3D effect. So making sure to have your reference photo up where you can see it the whole time you're completing this. So the next thing we're going to do is do these little pincers on the front, and this is me explaining to my Patreons using my hands what we're going to do next. So for this one we need an embossing tool. So if you haven't heard of this before, it's just a sharp metal object that helps to indent the page. They're usually used for clay and things like that, but it just is really great for putting in whiskers and lines. So making sure to pay attention to your reference photo and start to put in some of those little hairs. If you haven't done this before, it's probably best to have a practice on a spare bit of paper before you do any of this. And then once you go in with your pencils, you just need to make sure you're holding it on the side and doing really light layers so that you don't get any colour in these little lines that we've put down. For these, I just started to build up the light tones with the cold grey one, adding in some of the beige red where you can see that pinky colour, and then starting to get darker with the purples, blues, some of the darker cold greys. Just really gradually building up the colours and making sure to sort of go around those lines or using really light pressure if you're going over them. And then just like we did with the eyes, we can go through and complete exactly the same thing for the second little pincer at the start. So putting in all of those embossed lines, building up really nice and lightly with your cold grey one, adding in some of the colours. And to make it nice and smooth, you can go back over with your cold greys to smooth it all down. Just make sure to hold your pencil nice and lightly on the side so that you're not getting any colour into the embossed lines. So one of the trickiest textures for this piece is going to be the top of the head. So I went in with the base of the cold grey one, and then using my sandpaper sharpener, really getting a very sharp tip on my black pencil, and then using that to put in these really tiny little details and lines to go around the sort of white furs. So you're not putting in the white furs, you're just putting in the black shadows around the furs. So making sure that your pencil is always really sharp, so make sure throughout this section you're just going in and sharpening it back up again and just putting in those really little details. And then I started to put in some of the beige red, the cadmium orange, the scarlet red, and then getting darker with some of the red violet. At the very top it was black, and then starting to go back in and putting in more of those little details with the black pencil. So at this point, when all of your little black lines are down, I really don't recommend going through and blending down with any sort of cold greys or anything like that, because it's just going to smudge all of the black lines that you've done, and it'll stop the sort of sharp preciseness of them, so making sure just to leave this as your final layer, don't go back over it. Oh my god guys, it is so windy today. So the next thing we're going to do is put in the legs one at a time. The legs at the back are blurry and the front ones are in more detail, so we need to make sure that when we're doing the blurry legs at the back, we're sort of using sort of blunter pencils. If you have really sharp pencils, that's fine as well, but you just need to make sure that you're really blending out the harsh lines. So you don't really want to have any sharp lines or small details in this section because it's just blurry. So you want to make sure to really gently blend out the lines as you go. You'll notice as well that I'm going through and adding in some of the dark sepia, the black, some browns, but I'm also going in with some of the purple violet and the blue and red tones, and this is just because adding colour into darker and lighter sections just really helps to give the depth and help with the 3D effect. Then moving on to the front leg, there is a lot of hairs in here as well, so I'm going through again with the embossing tool, making sure to go over really lightly with your colours. And then as you start to get darker, just trying to go around these embossed lines, because if you go over them too hard or too precisely, the colour will go into these white lines. And you can see I'm just working on one little section at a time. This helps to sort of break it up and allows you to sort of switch colours in between. It allows you to stay focused and just work on a little bit at a time. And as you can see, it's quite repetitive with all of the colours and the textures and everything that we're doing. So this is a really good piece to sort of practice on for people who want to learn this sort of texture. And signing up to Patreon, you get everything that you need to complete this all by yourself. This is where we're at with the spider. I've gotten him in. I've spent pretty much all day today on this one. I think it's taken about 4 hours all up. All I need to do now is just figure out how big the frame is going to be that it might be in, and then start to map out where we can put the tape so that we can start to tape it up, and then I can continue the background tomorrow. I am really happy with how it's turning out though. It does look like the front is in focus, and then the back there, the legs look like they're out of focus, so that's the sort of effect I was going for. Okay, so today we're going to do the background of the spider. I'm really looking forward to putting the background down. Last night I just went through and did a little practice sheet of the colours and the blending method I'm going to use. So I have everything planned out of what I want to do. Hopefully I can execute it as well on the paper. So blending the background and doing this sort of thing is going to take a really long time, but it is really therapeutic and I am really excited to get into it today. So I've got my headphones ready, I've got some YouTube to listen to, I've got my cup of tea, a heat bag and a blanket because I get cold, and then we can just get started and enjoy the process. Of course, I'll be filming this for my Patreon, so I'll be speaking about the process as I go. The colour pencil blender I'm going to be using is Zestit Pencil Blend. This is what I have used for all of my pieces. It's very, very good. Any sort of blender or any sort of way that you want to do it is fine. It doesn't really matter as long as the paper's blending and it's working for you. So let's get into it. So when completing the background, we're just going really lightly on the side and blending down our pencils. The colours I'm using are the juniper green, pine green, a little bit of the Naples yellow, and then going with the dark sepia and the black. Putting down a lot of layers and also blending in different directions will help you to cover the tooth of the paper. I then go in with some of the Zestit colour pencil blender on the brush and blend all of this down. When you're doing this, you just want to make sure that you're sort of wetting it all down really lightly, mixing it together. You don't want to go in with a too wet a brush or too dry because it won't blend smoothly. And so just as before, I'm going to complete one section, wet it all down, complete another section, wet it all down, and do all of that for the 4 different sections. And then once it's all dry, we can go back over and do some more layers. When you start to go in with your final layers, you can start to get a little bit darker and go in with a little bit of a harder pressure. If you feel like you need to blend it down again, you can always do that. And if you feel like your paper isn't blending as well as it should, you can also go in with a blender pencil or some more solvent. It just depends what's working for you. And then what we're going to do is use my guillotine just to cut it all down so it's all nice and square. And these are the final shots. And I really hope you like this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you want to complete this one all by yourself, you can check me out on Patreon. I have over 40 different tutorials on my website, so you can check those out there. Leave me a comment below letting me know what you think of this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys.